All right, everybody, welcome back to the pit with Jeff. It's February the 11th up in the Great White North, -3 degrees out. That's not too bad, I can handle that. I'm just going to give you a little tour of what we've been up to lately. We had one little accident in the shop here, which I'll show you now. When I was working on my dad's Mustang over on the other bench, I whacked the fin, knocked the trim tab off, but I didn't realize that I also cracked the fin along the fillet here and just under here. So we made up, I just, here, we just cyanoed the crack up, and then under here, made up some 5-minute epoxy, pushed the fin over just a little bit. The rudder post and all that wasn't cracked, so it's just, I think just banged her pretty good. Got my little steel ruler, some epoxy on it, wedged it underneath there, let it set up, and took some of the Bondo spot glazing putty. Just quick little fill on the edge here, little fill there, quick scuff sand, fixed that all up, glued his trim tab back on, and then made up a new, this was missing, so I made up a new linkage and stuff for it. Some litho plate, some pins, a little bit of tubing. Got that put back on, molded up. I gotta look at, see what these are. I don't know if they're early warning stuff. I don't know. I'll have to look those up to see what those were. His didn't have it. Mine, I have it on mine. So I molded up a couple there, one there, one over here. Just took the light spackle, went over, spackled in a bunch of the rivets that were a little deep. Well, actually, I just ran over all of them. Then I just took the Scotch-Brite pad, gave it a quick buff. So I think we're pretty well ready, except for putting I gotta pull a new canopy and get that mounted. And then we'll, I'm pretty sure the fuselage is pretty well ready for priming. I had 3D printed some extra, see, I can see these, get you in here, these little brackets. I always do extras, so I glued those, epoxied those in place for the doors, primed those, primed his identification light bezels, molded up some gas caps. That's just the same thing, epoxy and micro balloons. I think this is the better, it's one of the better ones. But they'll go back into there, in that hole there, and then 2 in each wing panel. And what else did we do? So that's pretty well done on that. I mounted his engine out of the Cessna 140 onto my airplane to put his, I just wanted to trial fit. I had his cowl fitting before, but I didn't have the engine in. So his, oops, sorry about that. You guys are looking at dead air. It's kind of hard to do it with one hand. Let's see here. Here, look at my coffee in there. So his is a little tight. I got mine a little tight down here on the joints. And then I had made this little piece of plywood here just to give it a bit of support there. But I think to get his to go back a bit farther, I got to open up the bottom on the cowl a little bit. But I'm not going to be too worried about it because I want to see, and I got it pretty good. My gaps aren't too bad over here. Just it has to. I have to get it to come up, but it's hitting here. But I'm not too worried about it because I'm gonna fix his up, and I'm gonna pull a cowl off of his. Last summer I made a mold, but for somehow I screwed up my parting line. I made it in 2 halves, and it was too narrow. I should have kept it. I checked out the cowl I had made. I should have kept it and just cut it in half and maybe widened it a bit. But anyways, we'll do a new one there, and then that's pretty well getting ready to go. I'll come over, go for a walk over here again. Mind the mess. We're renovating. I took my mold here for the chin cowl, just hot glued some styrofoam on it just to keep it up off the table. Made a chin cowl, some of my dad's old epoxy from our fiberglass pattern days. I think it's just half ounce cloth, and all I did was I just put some fiberglass mat on. So we just gotta cut that all out. Took one of his gas caps, took some dollar store Play-Doh, put a blob of Play-Doh down on the bench. Take this, shove it in. Have to do it upside down. If you do it right side up, it doesn't gives you the wrong way that you want. Shove that in upside down, pull that back out, and just, this one's not that good, but just some the epoxy micro balloons, pour it in there, let it harden, pop it out, and you end up with a couple gas caps. I got his gun barrels out here. I'm gonna measure up some tubing, make some gun barrels. If you're cutting fiberglass cloth or anything, get yourself one of these. Pull that guard back, and then you can just zip that along. Oh, it didn't cut the paper. But anyways, I probably didn't push hard enough. But this cuts the cloth a lot nicer than trying to use scissors and that. I've also taken the fiberglass cloth and pull a strand out of it and use that as a guide to try and cut along, but that works pretty good. Just little piece of plywood. I'll just use that for show you, but if it was cut yourself a bigger piece of plastic. Couple clamps. Got your little plug sitting there. Heat it up with the heat gun. Push it down over there. Take your mitts. Push it down harder while it's still still warm. Make sure you wear yourself some gloves because it gets pretty hot. I'm just using the monocoque gun for the small stuff. Works pretty good. And that's how I made the blisters for up on the fin there. And that's pretty well it. Gonna cut down the chin cowl today. Probably get the little compressor and the airbrush going. And here, let's go for a tour. Get the airbrush and that going, and we'll just spray his doors and my doors, inner doors, with the zinc chromate and that. But other than that, we're doing. So we got one Mustang, two Mustangs. Alrighty, everybody stay safe out there. Have a good day, and we'll talk to you later on. We'll get some more stuff done from in the pit. Bye.